Hello and welcome to Vital Perspectives. I'm your host, Dr. Marwin, and we are here today at the NAACP office with a group of young people here in Peoria to talk about what it's like to be young African American in Peoria. This comes on the heels of that Wall Street, 24/7 Wall Street report that was released last fall that named Peoria as the worst city for African Americans to live in. We want to know, what is it like for young people? And so I want to start out first. If you want to introduce yourselves, just tell us the audience who you are.
My name is Marticia Strack. I'm currently a college student at Illinois Central College.
Hello, my name is Tajlon Harris. I'm currently getting my GED at Practice Center right now.
My name's Burnell Harvey, and I'm currently a student at ICC.
My name is Andre. I'm currently working as a student.
Okay, since you got the microphone, you might as well, hold on to that. Can you tell us, for you, if you can just sum up for the audience, your experience living in Peoria? I mean, do you like your community? Do you dislike your community? Are there things that you would like to see changed? Or would you say it's an ideal place to live?
I love my community.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think we do got some stuff we need to change though.
Mm-hmm.
I had good experiences and bad experiences living here,
Mm-hmm. And so when you say you love your community, what do you love about your community?
My people, everything.
Your people, everything. Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, well, to be honest, like, we all done been through some stuff growing up in Peoria,
Mm-hmm.
I done lost friends, been to jail, been to the penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a struggle living here, especially when you don't surround yourself or you take the wrong path, you know what I'm saying? So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's different here than other places, or do you think most young African American males are dealing with the same challenges you're dealing with here in Peoria, or is it something unique about the experience here in Peoria for you?
To answer that question, it's the same thing going around, everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay.
But you asking, like, what makes it particular?
Yeah, is it something particular about Peoria? You said that, you've lost friends, you had some good times, some bad times. You said it's a struggle. Do you just think that, Peoria is a struggle, but it's a struggle everywhere, or is the struggle particularly harder here in Peoria?
I feel like it's harder here, because I haven't lived in no other cities.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but for the size Peoria is, we shouldn't even have stuff like this going on, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone?
Yeah, can I add something?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Peoria is less opportunities for specifically black people and black males, so they really only give them one option, even though it's not right, but they feel like they're doing what they have to survive and to take care of their family, their children. So they're doing the only thing they think is right, even though it's wrong and it's against the law. But the government is also singling us out by trying to get us to go to the county and to the penitentiary. So that felony on our record, we really don't have that much else to do. So we only do what we can do. So that's how I feel about it.
Because you feel if there was more opportunity, there would be less
of course.
crime. Yeah.
Of course, like bigger cities, they have more opportunities. They have other places they can go. They have stuff they can do. But here is there's really not nothing at all. They just keep taking it away from us, and they're wondering why it's happening.
Okay. And you say they, government,
Yes.
City Hall.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it all starts at.
Okay. As a young lady, I mean, what are your, when you hear this and, you are, aspiring to be a police officer to help serve and protect the community, I mean, what are your thoughts on hearing from your peers?
I think it's all about the person, because like he said, there may not be a lot of opportunities that are given, but I feel like if you have that personal drive and that motivation to succeed, you will push forth towards that, and you won't let anything stop you from reaching your goal.
Okay.
So I think it's not Peoria, but it just depends on the person. It may take you to leave Peoria to make it to where you need to make it. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to the person.
And to the question of your community, would you say you love your community? You love Peoria?
Yes, I do love my community. Why I love my community? Because I feel like there's a lot of people out here with potential that hasn't been tapped into, but the moment they realize that potential that they have, that right there can start your drive and your motivation for whatever you want to do or whatever you want to succeed at in life.
Okay. Let me get you into the conversation. Are you hopeful about Peoria?
I mean, me personally, I got love for Peoria. And by me saying that, that's because I was born and raised here. And I can't disown it, but I can try to help make it better. But I see things such as we don't have too many after-school programs. We don't have things for kids to do, but we tell them not to get in trouble.
Right.
We don't give them things to do. And then, as far as me growing up, I went to a private school, but I went right back to the hood right after 2:30. And I hate to say I became a product of my environment, but that's what happened. I seen things, I wanted it, and sort of like what she said, except the opposite, I had to drive to go get it, and I went to go get it, but it was the wrong way. But when you're growing up, where you're growing up, nobody tells you it's wrong. But as far as like Peoria, we're small, and we try to do things bigger cities do. And that makes it worse because it's so small. So.
Yeah. And when y'all say Peoria is small, you know that Peoria is the second largest city in Illinois. I mean, granted, compared to Chicago, which is huge, we'll have to give some context, and certainly it's a small city, you could say, with big city problems.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you went to a private school.
Correct.
And so you perhaps had a number of experiences that a lot of your peers probably didn't have.
Yes, sir.
And did that benefit you? I mean, besides from I'm speaking of during those hours when you was at school, do you feel like you are more you had more opportunity if you had a different neighborhood environment?
I mean, I'd had a better opportunity if I had a different neighborhood, but I also had a loving family. So it was another thing, like she said, it's the person, like I was just hard-headed. I wanted what I wanted, and that's what it was.
Yeah. And you all are young, but we know that the kids coming up are younger than you all. Do you feel like they having a different experience than you all had?
They actually have it. They have it harder than us.
They have it harder than you.
Because when we were coming up, we were taught to care. we had people there to care for us. We had after-school programs. We had boys and girls clubs. We had basketball camps that were free and different things like that. And nowadays, they embrace this music and different things like on TV and other things like that, and they don't have anyone there to tell them, no, don't do that, because 9 times out of 10, there's babies having babies, and no, babies can't raise babies.
Right.
We had our grandmothers,
Right.
grandfathers.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you want to chime in there?
Well, I agree with everything he said. He said everything I was just going to say. So, I see it every day.
See it every day? So you too believe that the young kids coming up behind you got it harder than you?
Absolutely. You got kids now worrying about stuff grown-ups supposed to be worrying about. You got kids trying to take care of themselves, worry about what they gonna wear to school, worry about how they gonna eat. And, you know, it eventually becomes a cycle. They start repeating the same thing. They start losing fear. You know what I mean?
Are the adults failing the kids, or the city failing the kids, or a combination of both?
I think it's a combination. You know, parents struggling, the household gonna struggle, and then nothing positive is gonna come from that.
You all share that sentiment? You different thoughts? You too believe that the kids, younger kids have it worse than you all had coming up? Is the solution voting? You mentioned City Hall, you mentioned government. How do you all feel about voting and politics in your local community?
Well, for me, voting is very important. If you don't vote, you can't complain. You can't complain about anything that's going on in your neighborhood if you're not voting locally, and like basically like for the president, different things like that. And if you can't get up for like 5-10 minutes to go where they tell you to go vote, I mean, what's the point of you even complaining, saying anything about it? Because I started voting when I was 18, and I've been voting ever since. And it does make a difference. One voice does make a difference. Because if you get that one voice and you add those other hundreds to it, and they're all speaking the same words, somebody's going to hear something.
Okay. Do you feel like young people have a reason to vote here in Peoria? I mean, do they feel, is it a sense that are they engaged?
Well, I honestly never voted, because how I feel about it is that the government is not really looking to us. I feel that the government is not looking as the people vote. They're looking at other, what's the word I'm saying? Other politics votes. So they're not really looking at us, they're looking at others. So I feel like us voting is just a waste of time. At least that's how I was taught. So
you was
maybe
taught
it's
that?
Yes.
That
And
voting
I'm not
is
saying by family members. I'm
Right.
saying by like the school.
that is okay. Well, I want to come back to that. That's an important issue that I want to take up with the group. We are at the point we need to take a break, and so we're gonna take a pause, take a commercial break, and come back on the other side to dive a little deeper into this idea of voting and not voting.
Gospel Peoria. Tune in Saturday nights at 7:30 on Comcast Cable Channel 22. Watch revealing positive information with various topics, people, and arts. Also, be sure to visit our Gospel Peoria TV Facebook and YouTube channel, where you can watch show segments, information, and updates about the program. That's Gospel Peoria TV on Comcast, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m., Channel 22. Now that's television with an innovative touch.
We are back to Vital Perspectives. I'm your host, Dr. Marwin Spiller, and we are here at the NAACP office with a collection of young people who are talking to us about various topics, from what it's like to grow up in Peoria to their attitudes on voting. And before the break, we were talking about your attitudes about voting. You said you yourself haven't voted and you don't feel that there's a point in voting. What about your peers? Do you think your peers share that attitude?
But honestly, I do think so. I really don't think it's a lot of young people that are voting. I think it's more of the older adults. And me and my peers, we never had a reason to vote, or we never was taught why we should vote.
Did President Barack Obama have an effect on you or your peers with regard to the question of voting?
Well, I would say yes, but after Barack Obama left office, I really stopped listening to the office and their campaigns and stuff after our new President Trump came in office.
And it sounds like the local election, perhaps it's even further off the radar.
Well, yes, with me.
With you?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you? What are your thoughts and attitudes about voting in national and or local politics?
I think that is very important because, like he said, you can't complain if you don't vote. I feel like you should personally do the research on the candidates and see who best fits towards what you want to see your community strive for, as well as internationally with the president as well.
Right. Okay. And with regard to you yourself, you're a voter.
Yes,
And
sir.
your friends vote?
Yes, sir.
Do you have friends who don't vote?
Not that I know of.
Okay. So with regard to the local politics, we know who our mayor is. What's your thoughts on the mayor and City Hall, Peoria politics? Do you feel like they've been responsive to your community, peers? I mean, you talk about opportunity. You think that the mayor's office, the city council should be doing more?
Well, when it comes to that, I believe they can be doing a lot more. I mean, they're putting money in all the wrong places, and then letting certain neighborhoods just go downhill. And what they're not realizing is they're so worried about the present when these young kids are our future, when they need to be investing their money and time into them. Because without our future, we don't have anything. And it doesn't take much just to step out and talk to people, pop up in different neighborhoods, in the neighborhoods that people are scared to go to. Just come down and show people that you have love for them, or that you even care just a little bit. Nobody does that.
Yeah. Have you seen the mayor come to your neighborhood? Somebody from City Hall come to your neighborhood to?
Actually, yeah. At school, I shook hands with somebody from the City Hall, I think. So, but like he said, they show they care. When election time comes, when just come to places in Peoria,
So you don't believe that they care?
I don't say they care, but I mean, our city, what was the name? One of the worst cities in Illinois, right?
Not in the country.
In the country. So I mean, it's the proof right there. I mean.
So you think they could be doing more? Should be doing more?
Yeah.
And are we doing enough to hold them accountable in terms of our voting behavior? Because, if in fact people feel so disconnected, so removed from politics that we are not at the table we're not voting, we're not engaged, then who's holding them accountable if we're not holding them accountable? And do you think young people could do more?
I feel like it's not like they have to reach the younger people, us, in a different way. If they want to get our attention, you know, but it's a lack of education, people not knowing why to vote. Like he said, you know, some people just don't care because if they feel like it's not going to affect them. Like me, I'm registered to vote. I'm registered to vote, but I didn't vote.
And why didn't you vote?
I ain't really too big on politics, but I sort of feel like it's not, I'm just going to live my life the same way, you know?
Whether you vote or not.
Whether I vote or not.
Whether whoever's in office is not going to have no effect on you.
I mean, it is. So, I mean, I feel like it's not going to be a positive effect, though.
Not a positive effect. Okay. Okay. I want to, well, let's, right now, what do you mean by that? About a positive effect. So you're saying that if no matter who's in office, it's not going to affect you, and if there is an effect, it'll be a negative one, meaning that they're going to pass legislation, pass bills, and make decisions that will benefit someone else's community, which would have a negative effect on your community.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm getting at, yeah.
Okay. What about others? You share that perspective?
I feel like it don't really matter who in office. We still gonna struggle, or you know. That's just my opinion on it.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
I mean, as far as something like that, I don't say it always have a negative effect. You get some people in there that try to just get railroaded from the people above. But most likely, like our type of community would be the last communities that would get thought of anyway. That's how we see it when it comes to voting. And so a lot of people do think like that, like why vote? I mean, we were basically built to survive. That's what we've been doing this whole time. And no matter who gets in office, we're going to have to survive regardless. And that's just how people see it.
Yeah.
And because like when it came to me for voting at first, I just voted for whoever my mom or my granny told me to vote for. Like I didn't know anything about anybody that was in office or was going to office.
Right.
So a lot of young kids, they feel like I don't know these people. And last year was bad for me, so when they get in, this year gonna be bad too.
Right. Yeah. So I want to change topics a little bit. I want to meander back to that. But when President Barack Obama won in 2008, there was a sense of optimism that racism had been overcome, that we was living in this sort of post-racial society where race no longer mattered. We know that the 1960s sort of changed a lot of things, so much so that it's believed that, you know, young people are not experiencing racism in the same way that their parents did, their grandparents did. Do you all feel like racism affect you? Do you feel like race still matters?
I mean, yeah, racism is still here, and is except the only thing they do now, instead of doing it in the open, they sweep it under the rug, and they say different things instead of like the N-word. They'll say these thugs or different things like that, and it's just not. I guess let me say it's not cool to be openly racist, but you can do it on the internet. You can do it by saying no to a person for a job because of how they came in and looked, even though they're qualified for it. But no, you're not getting this job. Or just the way you treat a person. And I guess I can say nowadays racism is going both ways. So it's kind of worse.
Okay, okay. You agree with that? I saw you nodding.
Yes, I honestly feel like racism is getting worse. And Because at first, like it was known that, of course, the whites didn't like the blacks, and like he said, now it's going both ways, so it's twice as worse.
When you say both ways, blacks don't like.
The whites,
Right.
because of honestly how the whites was treating the blacks, and especially the young black males, and especially how they dress, and like you said, the thugs, or in my case, my dreads, they always singling dreads and black males out wherever you at, no matter what, trying to think of something of why they pulled you over or why they're doing what they're doing. So.
And you think that's race? Completely.
Oh yeah. So if I was a white male with dreads, who knows? They let me keep going. They probably would have said hi, how I'm doing everything.
Okay. Future of law enforcement. I don't want to put you on the spot in terms of that, but given the topic that we're talking about, I'm sure you have a different perspective. And so what are your thoughts on that, on what you're hearing?
That may be his personal experience, but I've never personally experienced that. Usually when I do ride-alongs, if someone of color is stopped, it's because of there's a valid reason behind it. And if it goes any further, it's because of how that person is talking, or they're just digging the hole deeper for themselves. But I've never experienced that. I don't know if it's different because I'm a female, but...
Right. Yeah, I think that certainly there's a lot of evidence that suggests that females are perceived significantly different than males. And that's a topic that we're going to take up in part 2. We are just about out of time for this first segment. I thank you all for your honesty, your perspective, a lot of weighty issues. You've been tuned in to Vital Perspectives, and I'm your host, Dr. Marwin Spiller. And tune in for part 2, where we'll continue this very engaging conversation.